Hello students, thank you for being here. This video will cover the key concepts, but the real in-depth learning takes place during our live meet, where you have the ability to ask questions and participate in deeper discussions. Let's cover the highlights of lesson 1.10, rigid transformations. Please make sure you go to your weekly slides and click on the Unit 1 resource. You'll find most of what we talk about today there. Look for the transformation slide that you see on this screen. So first and foremost, a transformation is a change in a figure. Specifically, what we're changing is the size of the figure, the position or location on a grid, or the orientation, which basically means how it lies on the grid. There are 4 different types of transformations that we will talk about. But our goal with these next few lessons is to talk about congruency within the transformation. Congruency means that all sides of one figure are the same as all sides of another figure, and also all angles of one figure are the same as all angles in another figure. If the angle sizes change or the side sizes change, it is not considered a rigid transformation or a congruence transformation. It can still be a transformation. It's just not fitting the criteria that we'll discuss in the next few lessons. So what we'll discuss are the first 3 types of transformations. The 4th transformation changes the size of the figure. Therefore, it's not considered a rigid transformation. First, we'll talk about reflections. Reflections are when you take a figure and flip it over a line of reflection. Think about when you are looking in a mirror. You are still the exact same you. You have not changed size or shape, but you now look backwards in the mirror. The second one is a rotation. This twists or turns your shape around a fixed point. We would call that the point of rotation. And the third one is a translation. This slides your shape to a new location on your grid. Now, when we do these types of transformations, you always start with an original image, which we will call a pre-image. And then the shape that has been reflected or rotated or translated will be called your image. We have different ways to denote this on the image. If the name of a figure is A, B, C, we know that that is the pre-image because there's no special symbols next to the letters. But once we've made a change, we put an apostrophe next to each of the letters that we call prime. So if my original image is triangle ABC, my new image, the one that has been changed based on a reflection, rotation, or translation, would be called triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Now, given that we're concerned with congruent transformations or rigid transformations, you will see all of the transformations take place on a coordinate plane or a grid because you can control length and size that way. It's very easy to see whether the images are congruent to each other on a grid or on a coordinate plane. We're going to start the concept of transformations pretty slow, and you'll have to recognize whether you have a translation, rotation, or a reflection. But again, we're looking for congruency. So if we can take one figure and map it onto the other figure, and they are the same size and shape, we would consider that a rigid transformation. When I say map it onto another figure, I just mean move it in some way so that one figure lands on top of the other figure. As I said, when we go from an original figure, which is our pre-image, to our image, we will use the prime symbols, which is an apostrophe, to indicate which one is the first and which one is the second image. The second one will be the actual image, and that will occur after we have translated it, rotated it, or reflected it. Now, it is possible to perform more than one type of transformation at a time on a figure. What you would do is you would look from pre-image to image, and then to your second image or third image to see how we sequence the steps of pre-image all the way to final image. Please take some time to start working on your iExcel assignment 1.10.